Yes, you both can take this one. We talk about it's sweeter for the adversity, sweeter for the grind, sweeter for all the stuff you went through the last month.
Yeah, I think just sweet is enough. Like, I don't think it needs to be any sweeter than what it feels like right now, because you have to earn these wins. You have to earn the opportunity to play in October. You got to earn a full series win over a good team, a hot team, a team that we know well. But I'm so proud of Dylan. I'm proud of our team. You got to fight, and we did, and we have to continue to do that. It gets harder and harder as you go. The series get longer, but when you earn it, that's what makes it sweet.
Dylan, good. The home run seemed to obviously broke the tie, but it also seemed to break the seal. It felt like even the seventh inning came and it was just one hit after another. How big a moment is that for you? I mean, what were you feeling running that circling the bases there?
No, it was huge. It was huge. Obviously, I've been saying this. I was scratching and crawling a little bit this series, and I was able to get a pitch to hit and able to do a little bit of damage. But yeah, the momentum. I feel like the momentum in the series was the biggest thing. The team with the biggest momentum, or the most momentum, was the one that was gonna kind of carry on. So we were able to flip it right there, and then we had a huge sixth inning.
Yeah.
Able to score some runs and kind of be in the driver's seat a little bit. It was a big one.
AJ, what does it say that so many of the guys that had been scuffling just a little bit, Wenzel, Riley, Torp, that were able to come through with big hits?
Yeah, we were right on the cusp of that the entire series. Obviously, jumped on Tarek's back in the first game. In the second game, the story about the guys left on base and so many opportunities, and if just one hit would break open the whether it's confidence or momentum or just being contagious. And Wenzel did that. We had some incredible at-bats early that didn't go our way. But, as we talked about before the game, you got to stay in the fight for 27 outs. You're going to have to face some adversity, whether it's, a bad play or a bad pitch or a bad call or something's going to happen that you got to fight back from. And we did. And so when Wenzel got the hit, I don't know why in baseball it seems like one good thing happens and then 2, 3, 4, 5 at-bats in a row were exceptional, and we wanted to get even more greedy and do more, but it was nice to separate and breathe a little bit, but knowing they weren't going to give in.
Right.
AJ, what is Dylan's emergence as your everyday catcher meant to this team this year?
Yeah, so I'm obviously biased because I'm an ex-catcher, but I believe in presence. I believe in stability, and what a pitching staff needs is the guy behind the plate that they know what they're going to get, regardless of the ups and downs on the offensive side. And what he's given us on the offensive side is exceptional. So, but our pitchers trust him, and you have to earn that. You can't just show up and be a big leaguer, put on a big league uniform, and get that. Inevitably, you have to go out and do it. And so, Dylan stepped up when Jake got hurt early in the year and just ran with the opportunity. But he never stopped preparing. He never stopped kind of fighting. He never stopped trying to get better. And he's emerging as a frontline catcher because of all that work that he's doing and the credibility that he's gaining and the trust that he's already got. And I love that for him. I love that for any catcher that comes up and can get that immediately. Man, it's pretty special.
Sean, I'm right.
Just for both of you, mentioned the first inning and the at bats. There was a kind of a grind quality to it. I think he forced him to throw 26 pitches. The vibe feel a little bit different. Was that talked about? It just kind of happened. I mean,
so I don't think it was different. I think when you get to these playoff games in general, but then you get to elimination games, like you're on the edge of your seat or on the edge of the bench, or you're standing a little bit taller. Like he came and stood next to me every inning, and there's just a little extra urgency in the playoffs, and there should be, and you have to embrace it. You can't run from it. You can't be scared of it. You can't deny it. You got to overcome it a little bit, and when they're going to make good defensive plays, they're going to put the ball in play. Every hit does not mean the game is over. Every run doesn't mean the game is over, and so we're learning that because of the experience that we're getting now, second year in a row being in the playoffs. But it only gets better from here, and I'm proud of our group for continuing to learn and grow and mature and fight off some of the negative thoughts that come along the way. when people doubt you or you start struggling a little bit, like you got to stay in there. Wenzel Perez didn't have a hit this series till the biggest hit of the series. Dillon not necessarily executing all of his at bats until we really needed it. Javi Baez, towards the tail end of the season, scuffling to find his way, gets a pull side homer in Fenway, and all of a sudden takes off in the playoffs. We're one good swing away from impacting games that matter the most because we're one of a few teams still standing, and we need to embrace that.
Hey Dylan, how are you processing not only being able to come through with such an important home run, but also doing it in Northeast Ohio of all places?
No, it's obviously cool. I grew up coming to a few games up here, and I was always a long-time Guardians fan growing up. But no, it was special. It was special. Every time we come here, a lot of family, a lot of friends, cheering on, and it's kind of cool because all of them are Guardians fans. But whenever we come into town, they're supporting me. But ultimately, it was very special. Kind of closing the door. Winning this series out here.
How many people did you have here?
Today only 4, which is the low of the season. The low of the season. The most.
And yet he was still the only player that didn't get booed. It's amazing.
Most was 16 this year.
Who were they?
My mom, dad, actually three today. Mom, dad, and wife. Mom, dad, and wife.
Dylan, I saw you play with Erie and I was covering the Patriots, and I thought you stood out back then. Was there something in your development that's helped you at this point? Or was there a time you had to battle through adversity when you weren't sure you'd make it this far?
Yeah, so you learn a lot about yourself going through the ranks. For me, I spent my fair share in AA. I hit well until I got to AA, struggled a little bit, learned a lot about myself as a hitter, and then you kind of turn the page, you find a little bit of success, and you kind of roll with it. And I feel like that's what I've been doing the past 3 or so years. Obviously, I scuffled last year when I came up, but able to get the opportunity this year and find that comfort level, was able to let me excel a little bit.
Right.
I think you guys can both speak to this, but in these type of elimination games these days, you don't necessarily expect to see the starting pitchers for very long. How big was it for you guys to set up the rest of the game for Jack to keep things calm and work into the middle innings there?
Yeah, so I think what's interesting about these playoffs here, specifically the wild card series, it's our second year in a row doing this, and it's our second year in a row where Tarek Skubal set us up for the next game. Now, we won the second game last year. Way easier to win a series when you win the second game. When the third game comes around, we're still feeling the effects of how guys were able to, how Tarek was able to get us deep into the game. And so we didn't have a guy that threw 3 days in a row. And they did. And I think at some point it just catches up to you, the intensity of the pitches, the magnitude of the moment, and we capitalized. And so it's taken nothing away from them. It's just the way these series are shaped. And so for us, having Tyler Holton be able to come out and get a really big inning after a efficient yet longer outing yesterday than maybe we anticipated, that was huge. Will Vest being a 1+, something that we talk about all the time. Every reliever on our team needs to be a 1+. And I told Finnegan, I bet when we traded for you, you knew we were going to throw you in the 5th and 6th inning. That was the target. Things like that this team embraces, that makes my job really easy, but also sets us up to win the next day's game. Like, that is part of playoff baseball that's a little underrated.
I wanted to ask you about some of those subtle decisions that you made today with the lineup, first of all, which forced the early decision from Steven, and also the decision to go to Finnegan against what seemed like Rocchio, Kwan, top of their order.
Yeah.
Why?
Because every out matters. I mean, like Dylan was saying about momentum, like that matters. And when they flip the lineup, there's a lot of good top of the orders. I mean, 30 out of 30 are pretty good, right? But when you get Kwan and you get it to whoever they put in the 2, Valero was really good against us this series. Jose Ramirez, we circle that guy every time we play the Guardians. And so when you're bridging the game, every inning matters to give our offense enough time to hopefully break through. And so the goal for bringing Finnegan in was just keep the game exactly where it was or improved on our side. And so going 1+ was the goal for him. And we have our targets. We have our research. We know what we want to do going into the game. If the game leads us that way, we go one way or the other. I had Holton up the previous inning in case something got a little bit crazy around the Manzardo and DeLauder and those. I mean, all the lefties they had. So every out matters. Every game. I preach this to these guys all the time, but specifically in the playoffs, things can turn in a dime, and so we weren't going to allow the game in the middle part of the game, cost us.
Congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.